So a lot of people call this a swim bait. A lot of people call this a swim bait. To me, this has always been a paddle tail. This is the swim bait. I've met a few other people like that where they say that is not a swim bait, that's a paddle tail. But since people get confused, I went ahead and made this swim bait. Will this guy work? Will the action work both ways? Will the tail flap as this swims? I don't know. Will it catch fish? I don't know, but that is what we're figuring out in this video today. I'm about to head out to the lake right now and use this guy, but first, let's make it. Check out that catfish. Are you freaking kidding me right now? What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another lure making video. So I had this piece of wood right here. This is excess from the last lure I made, and I said, you know what, let's make a lure from this little piece of wood. So last night I drew up this design here. So this is a segmented little swim bait. But in the last video I mentioned I needed a vise. We got a vise. I need to change these metal pieces in the wood. I got a stand for airbrushing so I can paint both sides at once. I got a chisel set and then some diamond files here. So I need to set all this up. I also got this big piece of wood from Hobby Lobby. So this is balsa, just a giant piece of wood for $11. So this is more lures. I can make way more lures with this guy here. Or maybe I should just make one big swim bait with this guy. That would be insane. Maybe we'll do that at 1,000 subscribers. So 1,000 subscribers, I will go buy another block of balsa this big, and we will use the entire block to make one big swim bait. That will also give me a bunch of time to actually get good at making lures. But yeah, that'd be sick. A swim bait that big. Sheesh. All right, so here is what we're making today, a segmented swim bait. My first time making the segments and all that good stuff. So let's get started. So I just put a pilot hole here on the tip. I'm gonna go ahead and get this drilled out now before I sand it all down and cut it down and get it super small, just so that hole is already there. Don't have to worry about it. This is the easiest time to do it. So got the hole drilled nice and centered. Now I need to draw the edges and make this thinner. All right, we got our lines, so let's go cut these out on the Blade Runner. Alright, so here is our bait shaped up. We got the edges in the shape that we want it. Our hole is still centered pretty good. So I'm happy with that. Now I need to draw the edge lines. Alright, so there's the edges all carved down. Now we just need to sand her down. Alright, so I drew a line right here that's kind of to try to center a slot right here for this fin right here. I'm going to start with drilling a hole. that is a very nice tight fit. There's gaps, but I will fill those gaps in with baking soda and super glue. But yeah, that is a beautiful fit. Here's a little fin. I think next up I need to cut the segments, which I'm a little worried about. I need to go find a saw I can actually even do it with. I don't think I have a saw to do that. I just went and cut out this 45-degree piece of 1x, and I just have a hacksaw. Alright, the last segment we need to cut. Alright, so here are all the pieces cut. That actually wasn't too bad at all. But I need to go ahead and stick this fin in that slot. I will have to cut it down here just so it does not overlap with this hole here, but that will be easy to do. Let's go ahead and get this piece glued in. I could not have made this slot any tighter. It fits perfectly. I can't wait to make a big swim bait where everything is big. This guy is tiny. I mean, I could probably go smaller, but yeah, I don't want to. It looks like that tail is still going over the back piece, but it's not. I may have to fill this hole in, just so you don't see that hole. It's not necessary now. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna fill that in. Got some baking soda, super glue. All right, time to drill some holes. And we got some very, very small pieces. Gonna make sure that they match up. Make sure all the holes are in the same spot. That's how thin that is compared to the drill bit. Line tie, treble hook tie, treble hook tie, and then we have all the connectors drilled out as well on all these pieces. There's 3 of 1, 2, 3, 4, 11, 12. Ugh, I gotta make 12 of these. Alright, so that is pretty much what I have to do to get these pieces all connected. Make a little connection, it's just like that. I need to make about 6 of these, so I will be right back. I kind of just jumped the gun. I mean, I should have stopped and painted this first, but I didn't. Just started sticking it together. Oh well, I can paint it afterwards once it's all together. Next time I want to make a swim bait this small, kick me in the balls. This is not fun. Alright, the last 2 connectors. I am so sick and tired of making these little stupid paperclip loops. Now once I get good wire, these loops should not be a problem, hopefully. So I am sealing the inside of these gaps as I go, because once these are put in and locked together, it will be really hard for me to get my fingers in there. Just spread around some super glue. Alright, so I got the last little line ties and the hardware glued in. Let's get some glue in these holes and call it good. Hopefully this goes together good and right and looks good and perfect, because I can't really do nothing about it now if it doesn't. It has some pretty serious curvature. Not the prettiest swim bait I've ever seen, but for the first one, I'll take it. Alright, not too bad. I need to seal her up and then add some weight to it. Go drop it in the sink, see how it floats. It's gonna float for sure, but we need to add some weight to this bad boy. Alright, so I went and put it in the sink, and of course it floated. So I am now drilling out a hole for weight. I already pre-drilled the hole, going a little bit bigger each time. Alright, so we got the weight in. I'm going to fill this hole with baking soda, which might take quite a bit. Hit it with some super glue. Go ahead and get that sealed again, and we can go test her out. Alright, so here is how it sits in the water. It does sink, but as you can see, this guy here, this tail end, it wants to float. That guy floats way too much. This guy, it does not float. So, I'm thinking about taking off this end right here. I'm gonna cut this off, unfortunately. You know what, this is my third lure, alright, so I'm not expecting perfectness or even like knowing everything about it. We're gonna have a bunch of fails like this one. This is a fail in my eyes, but it's okay. Alright, this tail is a goner. Now I'm gonna go see how it floats like this. Alright, so after messing with the tail and failing multiple times, I tried making a tail out of the grubs. I melted down the grubs. Tried multiple times doing that, and that failed. I also tried adding more weight to this guy and adding it back on. That failed. And my final decision, what I came up with for a tail for this fin bait, I cut off the end of a paddle tail, just a Kitech. I cut the ends to be a cone shape that will fit right inside here, and I just have to super glue that on. I know it's kind of weird, it kind of makes it long, but that's what we're doing, alright? So there is the idea for the tail. But now we need to paint it. So I want to paint this to make it look like a bass. Here's our greens. This is the greens we got. It is windy as crap, guys. This is another reason why I want to make baits. When the wind is like this, fishing is horrible, and I'm not gonna be catching anything and having a terrible time in the wind. So on days it's windy, bad weather, I can always just make a bait. So I wanted a darker shade of green, so I mixed together the two greens I had and one dot of black, made this color, and I sprayed the top half with that. I also did a little lateral line just to practice, but that is how it's looking now. Looks pretty good. It's starting to look like a bass. But again, this is just the scale colors. I'm going to go back over this with different colors, but this is where or how I want the scales to look. So once I paint over everything, just the scales will be this color. Alright, so I got these scales ready to go on just the first half. I will have to wrap all this separately just because that fin makes it pretty awkward. But gonna get some white in the airbrush here. I just mixed some fluorescent yellow with my original green to make it way lighter. Now we're gonna go hit up the top side of the lure with that. All right, I got the second piece ready to go for scales. I'm gonna basically do the same thing I did over here, make it all match. So I will see y'all when that is done. All right, so here is the lure. I went ahead and added some eyes to it, and it is ready to be coated, but it looks like a bass. This is my first time ever painting a bass. I did mess up quite a bit. Got some areas with overspray that I can't really do nothing about now, especially on this side. Bunch of white sprayed up in here, splattered it, but yep, can't do nothing better now. We're in too deep, but I got some 5-minute epoxy. Shout out to Adam Allsup for telling me I could use this to clear coat it, so I'm gonna try it. All right, so here it is after the clear coat. This is the epoxy. It does look a whole lot better with the epoxy, but this took all night to dry for me to be able to touch it. So that's way too long for me. I have seen some other stuff I want to try, which I will try on the next one, but other than that, this looks amazing. Looks pretty freaking good. Now we just need to attach the tail, the Swimbait tail, which is right here. So, which also I painted to match the bait. But that's just gonna go right there, and it's gonna look just like that. All right, let's get this thing glued on. It is windy as crap outside, but we are going to try to go to the lake and make a few casts with it. And if this tail ever does get ripped off, all I have to do is glue on another one. Real easy. Stick this glue right here. It's already holding. That's how quick this plastic holds to the super glue. It is pretty insane. Alright, there it is. I think that the green is a little too dark. I wish I went a little bit lighter with that, but other than that, I think it came out pretty cool. It looks pretty good. With the epoxy, that looks so much better than the super glue did. It's not perfect. I am still learning. This is my third lure ever, but I think it came out pretty good. My first time painting a bass. You got the scales up there. I mean, the scales are barely there, but it's kind of cool. It's just barely there. But yeah, guys, will this catch fish? Let's go find out. I'm about to head down to the lake, throw it on a rod, make a few casts, check out the action of it, see if it even works. I don't think it will, honestly. I think the paddle tail will probably cancel out this piece here. I don't know, we'll see. This is something I have never used before or seen really. So it's go time. Let's go down to the lake, test it out, see if we can catch some fish. Oh, I'm not excited for winter. So the wind has been absolutely blowing the last few days, and it's pretty windy today and about 40 degrees, pretty cold. I just got done sprinkling, so conditions are not perfect, but I just really want to see the action of this guy. There's some calm water right here. I'm just gonna do a little short cast. The tail definitely kicks, which I mean, expected, right? As far as like the segmented body parts, kinda. Oh, I did it hard right there. If I jerk it. If I jerk it, it will like pull. Okay. I mean, it has action. This guy should catch fish. That is, if the fish are biting. Fish have to be biting. Let's see what we can do. First cast. Ah, it's freaking cold. My hands are already cold. Already over it. I'm gonna let this guy sink for a bit. Oh, this wind sucks, dude. I'm not ready for winter at all. I thought I was. I thought I was ready for trout fishing. I'm not. I just got home from fishing this lure and it is snowing. That's how cold it was. Man, this is the first snowfall of this year, and I am not excited about it. Oh, this sucks.